Hey there friends, it's Missy again. Thanks so much for stopping by today. I have a new layout for the Paige Evans design team, and this is going to be a very bright and summery layout. And I'm going to be using some very bright papers and one of Paige's brand new stencils. This one is called Fish, and it is so cute. It's 6x6, and I cannot wait to use it on this layout. I'm also going to be using Paige's Fish background cut file, and I'm going to be mixing and matching some horizon with some Bloom Street. Here are my two photos for the day. They are obviously very bright and sunny pool photos, which are my favorite kinds of pictures to scrap. So I'm going to start with some thick, smooth white cardstock because I'm going to have a ton of bright colors going on, and I didn't want to use a pattern paper as a background. I wanted to start with just white so I could build all of the colors on that. So I'm going to start with some clear gesso, and I'm going to cover the entire sheet because I'm not quite sure how much mixed media I'm going to do. I have an idea, but I'm not quite sure how big it's going to get. So I'm just going to go ahead and err on the side of caution here and just cover the whole thing with some clear gesso. And this is just going to prep my paper for all the stuff I'm going to add to it. So I'm thinking I'm going to have some water down below since I've got all these fish. So that's where I'm going to start. And I'm just going to basically lay the stencil right on top of the cardstock on the right hand side. And I'm going to use some white modeling paste, and I'm just going to scrape it right over the stencil using my palette knife there. And if you've never used modeling paste, it's pretty thick and creamy, and when it dries, it's very bumpy and it stands up off the page and it dries pretty hard, and so you can see the texture of the shape of whatever the stencil is. So basically the bottom half of this page is going to be fish, and I think it turns out really, really neat. So I'm going to do the whole stencil on this side, and then I'm going to repeat it again kind of on the other side. You have to be careful that the edge of the stencil doesn't smush the edge of the paste that you've already put down. I'm very impatient. I probably should just wait until the right side dries, but who has time for waiting, right? I was excited to make this page because I had an idea and I just wanted to do it. So yeah, I tried not to smush the wet paste with the edge of the stencil, and I think it turns out okay. But so yeah, I've got a little bit of space left, so I'm going to go ahead and fill that up, and then I did a little bit at the bottom. But you can kind of see there the texture that I was talking about, and it's very rough and bumpy, and since I've already got the gesso on there, anything that I add on top of it is going to, you know, spread and blend and smudge together really, really nicely. So I'm going to start this with some Distress Oxides, and I picked two different shades of blue there and just lightly scraped it on top of the fish and then add some water, and I'm just going to kind of let it run and blend. I want the whole section of fish to be blue, all different shades of blue, kind of just, you know, like water. So this does not have to be perfect. This is actually a very easy thing to do. I mean, if you've got gesso, if you've got modeling paste, and then you've got either some ink pads or some spray inks, this is easy. You just add the color, add a little bit of water, and then turn the paper and watch it run and blend. And instantly you can see all those fish just sort of pop off the page. And the cool thing about modeling paste is that it's going to create all these pools and valleys of the color because it's going to run all around all those raised edges. So I think that's so cool. I love doing this. Also added some shimmers. I pulled in some shimmers from my stash. That greenish aqua color that I sprayed over on the right is called Well Blue Me Down. And yeah, I'm just going to kind of color all of this in, almost all of it. I do leave a little bit of white area just because I don't want it to be completely covered. I like to leave a little bit of I don't even know what you would call it, some imperfect spots on it. I thought I would add a little bit of a darker blue color. That one is called Deep Blue Sea. That's also from Shimmers. And I'm just going to keep adding water, tilt the page, use the brush to kind of spread the colors around. But you can see how easy this really is. I mean, in the end, it looks complicated, but it's not hard to do. It just takes patience, and you have to be willing, to make a little bit of a mess. But it's easy to achieve this because of the stencil, I think. The stencil, the fish make this whole thing look so cool at the end. So that's my idea of having the water. This would look great for beach photos, anything summery, I think. The fish are awesome. Paige has 7 new stencils coming out, and I'll link them. You can find them down below. I'll make sure to link the stencils, and this fish stencil is just one of the new ones. So here's what I've got so far. You can kind of see it's still a little bit wet, but I love how this is looking thus far. And I love how the blue matches the blue in the pictures. Okay, so if I have ocean, or not ocean, but pool at the bottom, I gotta have some sunshine at the top. So I'm gonna do the plastic packaging technique to start here with a yellow, I think it's called fossilized amber distress oxide. I just smush the ink pad onto the plastic, add some water, and then you've instantly basically got watercolor. I'm gonna come in with a shimmers called mustard seed, little bit more of a golden yellow with a little bit of shimmer in there. Do the same thing with the plastic packaging. And I want this to be kind of an abstract sunshine. I kind of just wanted the idea of yellow, just to kind of give the illusion of sun, because I didn't want to have a blue sky. Since I've got all that blue water, I felt like that was plenty of blue. So I didn't want to make the top part of the layout blue as well. So we're going to leave the top part white because I feel like I need some white space since so much of this layout is colored. And I think once I start to add everything on top of it, it will make more sense. But my photos are going to go to the right. I keep bringing them back and, kind of putting them in position to see how things look up to this point. And I'm liking where this is going so far. So, yeah, I'm just going to keep dabbing a little bit of the color up and keep working with it. Splatters. Oh, yes, I have to add splatters. I'm not going to go too crazy with the splatters on this. I'm going to add a little bit of that mustard seed and then a little bit of the blue color. I think Jenny Bee Blue. I think I did spray some Jenny Bee Blue down. I forgot to mention that color earlier. Yeah, that's Jenny Bee Blue. And I really, really love that color so much. Okay, so I'm going to let that dry, and then I'm going to work on the cut file. This is Paige's fish background cut file, and that top paper I thought was perfect because it was going to give me all the bright colors of fish. And that is paper number 12 from Horizon, and I wanted a little bit more yellow and orange in the mix. So the yellow paper is paper 14 from Bloom Street, and the orange is paper 15 from Horizon. So I'm going to have all kinds of tropical looking fish on this layout, and I think it turns out really, really cool just because the paper is perfect for this. So okay, I'm going to add a little bit of tissue paper behind my photos there and raise them up off the page with some adhesive foam. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that and stick that to the back so they're ready to go. And I'm going to kind of layer them side by side, I think. That's pretty much what I'm thinking at this point. Just like that. Because my husband's holding my daughter up and she's looking toward the left, so I feel like it gives some direction, to where it looks like she's looking across the page. And I'm just going to start to play around with all these fish. Place them on, see how it looks. And then I decided that I wanted the modeling paste fish from the stencil to kind of stand out a little bit more. So I'm going to lightly smudge some white acrylic paint using my little foam ink blending tool there and just lightly dab it on top of the raised fish. This is just going to highlight some of the fish and make the shape of the fish stand out a little bit more. From where I was, looking at this page when I was making it, some of them just kind of blended into the blue so much that it was hard for me to see some of the outlines of the fish. So this is just going to add a little bit of highlight to some of the fish. And I think it makes it look a little more realistic because, when there are little waves in the ocean, it creates little white areas, and it kind of gives the illusion that there are some bubbles from the fish and that kind of thing. And I think the more I work with it, the more you'll be able to see it. And it looks so different in person than it does on camera with the lights, you know, right above me and everything. But you'll be able to definitely see it as I go. So I'm going to start to bring some of these fish back, and I want them going in, you know, both directions. I love this cut file because it's got, you know, a couple of different sizes of fish, and then you can resize them if you want them bigger or smaller, and it already has some little teeny tiny ones that I'm going to add in later. And then the stencil matches this perfectly. It's basically this cut file in stencil form, which is perfect. And you know, I was going through all the papers of Paige's collections, and I just was looking for a bright paper, and that one was it. All right, so I took everything off. I wanted to kind of see where I was on the background, and you can definitely see it a lot better now. I added a little bit more of the white, and up close, like I said, you're able to see all that texture a little bit better. So I went through some embellishments. I'm going to mix and match the title. I really wanted to use that pink hello piece. That is one of the vinyl puffy stickers from Horizon, and I'm going to mix and match with some things from Truly Grateful. That sunshine is from Truly Grateful, and then also I have the stickers, the cardstock stickers here from Truly Grateful, and the thickers from Truly Grateful. And I just was kind of looking around and just seeing what matched, what was bright, what I could put where, you know. And I really like that little scallop sticker. It kind of went from orange to pink. It was perfect to add under the pictures there, and that kind of gives some separation because the background is blue, and then it kind of goes right into the background of the pictures, and so that pink and orange scallop piece kind of helps separate the pictures from the blue. And I'm going to wind up adding some more layers in there so the pictures kind of are separate from the blue background. All right, here come the fish again. I'm going to work and kind of put them in little clusters, but because I do want to leave some open space where the water is. I don't want to completely cover up all that stencil work and all of the background fish. So I do want to pop some of these colored fish off the background, so I'm going to add some foam behind some of them, not all of them. And this is just going to bring, you know, some of them off the page a little bit more, create a little bit more depth and dimension. And I'm really liking how this is looking. I can never get sick of bright colors like this. It just makes me so happy because they all just look so pretty together, and they just scream summer, and that is my jam. I love it. So I'm going to go ahead and glue down these scallops behind the photos there so they are staying put. And then I want to try to figure out where to place this cute little puffy sunshine sticker that is from Truly Grateful. I know I want it up there above the photos. I just didn't know if I wanted it in the center or to the left, to the right. I wasn't sure, so it's not stuck down yet. I do want to add in some thread. I've got all the bright colors over there, and I'm going to go ahead and do that before I glue down any of the pictures. And I wanted some more yellow down underneath the pictures, so I'm going to add a little bit of yellow, and I'm going to wind up adding in a lot more colors of the thread. I'm going to play around with the title and try to figure out, you know, do I want to add some thread underneath the left side of the pictures where the title is going to run up next to the picture? And I decided to go with green because I don't have a lot of green. There is some green in the fish, but I just wanted another pop of that color. I didn't want pink, yellow, or blue because I'm going to use that hello piece, and so that's going to be the pink for that area. Played around with a couple other stickers, but nothing jumped out at me. I didn't want to add too many more embellishments because, I mean, let's face it, there's plenty of fish and color going on. So I just settled to add a little bit of layers behind the photos. These are some frames that are on the Truly Grateful sticker sheet. There was a blue and green one, and then I'm going to use this orange to pink one here, and just kind of cut them and use them behind the pictures there. And this is just going to give a little bit of color around the edges of the pictures and kind of, again, separate them from the background, but not you know, not too much, but there's some separation between the blue in the background and the blue and the water in the pictures, if that makes sense. Just kind of helps them stand out a little bit more, and your eye just is drawn to them. So I'm not done with the thread. I decided to just kind of go kind of all colorful underneath the pictures there. So I'm going to add in a little bit of pink and then a little bit of, I think, orange, just to add more color. I felt like, you know, there's not enough color on this layout. Let's add some more. I just went a little thread happy. It happens. It's, you know, it's my addiction when it comes to scrapbook layouts. Random colors of thread. I don't know. I just love the way it looks, and I feel compelled to add it on every layout that I make. Who knows? Who knows? So I'm going to go ahead and glue the pictures down. They are done. They're not moving, and that's where they're going. So let's get those secured. And then we get to add in these little teeny tiny baby fish. Aren't they adorable? They're so little. I'm not going to add any foam behind them because they're so tiny, but I am going to stick a couple of those down around in these groups of fish down at the bottom. They're so cute. And then I'm going to work with this sunshine. I'm going to add some adhesive foam behind that to pop it up, and I'm going to add another little sticker here from the Bloom Street stickers that says Walking on Sunshine. Tuck that in up there at the top, and it's kind of got a little bit of green on it, but mostly yellow. And I'm going to try a couple other stickers, but I just felt like it was getting too crowded. I didn't want to add all kinds of color above the pictures in the sunshine area. I wanted it to mostly remain yellow because I just wanted it to be like a true sunshine area. Just that one sticker is plenty. And then I tried a couple other things, but I just felt like it made it too busy. It overwhelmed the spaces. So I just went ahead and added in the title, and my title is going to be very generic and very basic. It's going to be Hello Summer, but it's okay because I like how it looks. These are the thickers from Truly Grateful, and they're a perfect match. I used all kinds of, you know, bright colors, and then I'm going to add that scripty hello from Bloom Street right above it, and I felt like that was the perfect mixing and matching. I love mixing and matching fonts, so I've got some scripty cursive here with some big block letters, and they're the perfect colors. I didn't have any yellow in the title, which was perfect because I've got all that yellow up in the sun, and I didn't use any blue because I've got all the blue in the water. I went through the little 2x2 Bloom Street paper pads and found this little flower cluster that I thought was perfect, so I'm going to add that over to the by the H in hello, and I felt like that brought some of that orangey yellow color to that area, and that was just what that section needed. And then underneath that I'm going to use some of the blue thread that matches the water. So now I've kind of got all the colors represented in the title, and yeah, the title is pretty simple, but that's okay. You know, sometimes a simple title is the perfect title, so we're going to go with it. I did decide after I had... No, wait a second. Did I glue the sun down? I think I did. I don't remember if I did or not. I wanted to add some texture around it, so I wound some yellow thread around my fingers to make like a big circular loop, and then wrapped it around the photo there, just for a little bit of added detail. So this is what I've got so far. We're almost to the end. Now I remembered, oh yeah, I have to add my journaling in. Where is that going to go? I did trim off the fish. I cut off their tails. So now that part's done. All I got to do is add the journaling. I just decided to do it right above the title over on the left, because where else is it going to go? And I like to add journaling. I know a lot of people don't. I love to add some kind of journaling and definitely the date, but that is it. That is the final layout, and I have to say I love how this turned out. I love all the color. I mean, that paper was perfect. There you can see the stencil work. Look at those fish and the cut file fish and the colors. Oh my gosh, you guys have got to get the stencil and make yourself a summer layout with fish. Find a bright paper and use that cut file. It's called Fish Background. I'm going to link down below the cut file, the stencils, all those goodies, because you have got to get them. They're perfect. So much fun. I love how this turned out. So many fun details. Yeah, I hope this inspires you in some way. I hope it gives you some ideas to try. Please let me know if you have any questions about any of this, and I'll be more than happy to answer. But I hope you guys have a great week. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.